Welcome to Top 5 Saga channel. Discovering the top 5 in every category. 5 missions where the USA faced significant failures. The Vietnam War is one of the most significant military conflicts in U.S. history, marked by a prolonged struggle between North Vietnam, supported by its communist allies, and South Vietnam, backed by the United States. The U.S. aimed to prevent the spread of communism in Southeast Asia, but despite extensive military involvement and a significant financial investment, the mission failed. The conflict resulted in high casualties, widespread destruction, and ultimately, the fall of Saigon in 1975, leading to the reunification of Vietnam under communist control. The war left deep scars in American society and diminished U.S. credibility globally. The Bay of Pigs invasion was a failed military invasion of Cuba undertaken by Cuban exiles supported by the U.S. government. The plan aimed to overthrow Fidel Castro's communist regime. However, poor planning, lack of air support, and inadequate local support led to a quick defeat. The invasion, which took place in April 1961, resulted in the capture of the majority of the invading force, embarrassing the U.S. and solidifying Castro's power. The failure also heightened Cold War tensions and contributed to the Cuban Missile Crisis just a year later. Operation Eagle Claw was a military operation aimed at rescuing 52 American hostages held in the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, Iran. The operation was marked by poor planning and execution. On April 24, 1980, a series of mechanical failures and a subsequent helicopter crash resulted in the deaths of 8 servicemen and the failure of the mission. The incident was a public relations disaster for the U.S. government, leading to widespread criticism and showcasing the challenges of conducting military operations in hostile environments. The hostages were not freed until January 1981, shortly after President Ronald Reagan took office. The U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003 aimed to dismantle Saddam Hussein's regime under the pretext of eliminating weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, that were never found. While the initial military campaign was successful in toppling Hussein, the aftermath led to a protracted insurgency, widespread violence, and a humanitarian crisis. The lack of a coherent post-war strategy resulted in a power vacuum, contributing to sectarian violence and the rise of extremist groups like ISIS. The invasion remains controversial, with debates over its legality, justification, and long-term consequences for U.S. foreign policy. Operation Restore Hope was a humanitarian mission launched by the U.S. to alleviate famine and stabilize Somalia amid civil unrest and warlord violence. While initially successful in delivering food and aid, the mission quickly deteriorated as U.S. forces became embroiled in local conflicts. The situation escalated into combat with Somali militias, culminating in the infamous Battle of Mogadishu in October 1993, where 18 U.S. soldiers were killed. The mission highlighted the challenges of military intervention in complex humanitarian crises and led to a re-evaluation of U.S. involvement in peacekeeping operations. The mission highlighted the challenges of military intervention in complex humanitarian crises and led to a re-evaluation of U.S. involvement in peacekeeping operations. Like, share and subscribe. Top 5 Saga channel.